Sandra Senior, and that's 3. 2 for her, and the USA surely sunk here. Press, lovely turn. Oh, great goal. Kristen Press, US are back in it. Lovely ball to Rapinoe. And it's in. There's the equaliser. Barbara Beaton on the near post. And the USA out of jail. Megan Rapinoe with the strike. Kelly O'Hara. Across the near post. Bouncing around. There's the goal. Juliet strikes it home. And the USA have come back from nowhere to lead 4-3. And after that amazing comeback against Brazil, tonight at the StubHub Center, the United States close out play in the Tournament of Nations against old rival Japan. Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the U.S. women's national team. We're coming to you live from the StubHub Center in Los Angeles, California, as the U.S. hosts Japan in match day 3 of the Tournament of Nations. Welcome along. I'm Ian Darke alongside World Cup winner and Olympic champion Julie Foudy. A breathless game against Brazil. 3 goals in the last 11 minutes for the U.S. and suddenly the mood's upbeat again.
And they needed that. That would have been the first time that the U.S. had lost 4 home games in one calendar year. And mind you, the U.S. right now looking at new players, tinkering still. Jill Ellis has said this is still the process. This is the plan. But boy, did they need that more than ever right then.
I think one thing we've learned from this tournament is Megan Rapinoe has to play. She was involved in everything in that Brazil game.
And that is why she is my Continental Tire Analyst Corner player. She has been so good as we've seen in the NWSL, but was on an 18-game goal-scoring drought with the U.S. women's national team. This was her second assist, and that was the comeback goal, really, that brought U.S. back to life. And here's the goal that ends that drought. Megan Rapinoe finding that near post. She has been so good in this tournament. She's healthy. She's confident. It's great to see her in this form.
Yeah, she feels in very, very good shape after some pretty agonizing times with injury. And wide on the left, I think that's where the U.S. need her and where she can be most influential. Mind you, Japan have got some of their World Cup veterans in the lineup today, and a good new name as well, Yuka Momiki, who's got a couple of goals from the bench, starts this time.
And she's getting the start, but she was been coming off in the first 2 games. You saw her there in the first game for Japan. This one against Australia, she's going to be their offensive threat for Japan, but also Japan in a rebuilding phase as well. But that's a player to watch.
3 of the last 4 global finals have been USA against Japan. This should be a good one. And when we return, we will have the starting lineups for you.
Gunslinger.
Gunslinger.
I am the last one. The man in black destroyed everything in my world. Earth will be next.
Get used to the carnage.
I have to stop him. The Dark Tower.
I'm surprised you're even sitting up.
I'm stronger than most. Rated PG-13.
Hello, Discover Card.
Hi, can you tell me about these new Social Security alerts I keep hearing about?
Sure, just sign up online. Then we'll alert you if we find your Social Security number on any one of thousands of risky websites.
Wow, that's cool. How much is it?
Oh, it's free if you have a Discover Card.
I like free.
Yeah, we just want you to be in the know.
Oh, hey, sushi. Oh, I smell it.
You're making me...
Yeah, being in the know is a good thing.
Know if your Social Security number is found on risky sites. Free from Discover.
Welcome back to the 2017 Tournament of Nations. It's USA v Japan. These two met in the World Cup final in 2011. After 2 extra time periods, it was 2-2. High drama, penalty shootout. The USA failed to score with 3 of their 4. Man of the match, Ayumi Kaihori, the Japanese goalkeeper. Japan winning on penalties 3-1, their first world title. But in Canada, revenge. Carly Lloyd got 4, including a 16-minute hat-trick. USA win 5-2 to capture the World Cup for the 3rd time. So these two teams know each other very well indeed. There's a great crowd here as well at the StubHub Center in Carson, just south of Los Angeles. Two teams in the tunnel here, and a really good atmosphere for this last game in the inaugural Tournament of Nations. It will become a bit of a fixture. There's another one next year involving the same 4 teams. What can we expect, Julie, do you think?
Well, we know that both teams right now are a little bit of a rebuilding phase, and rebuilding meaning it's supposed to be like that. It's 2017. You have actually 2 years before the World Cup, and there's no need to panic yet with the U.S. losing 3 games in this calendar year. But what you've seen from the U.S. side is you've seen some different formations, you've seen different lineups. We've heard Jill Ellis say repeatedly that this is part of the process. I can't see players when they play against teams, no disrespect, but to teams like Russia, I need to play them against the top 10 teams in the world. And she has been getting good looks, and boy, did they need that 3-goal comeback against Brazil in the second game here at this Tournament of Nations, or else the U.S. would have gone 4 losses in 1 calendar year, which has never happened before. 4 home losses as well.
Yeah. Well, that certainly lifted the mood, and I think it just gave a bit of confidence to these players. It'll be interesting to see how they respond after that, having gone through that kind of drama, because it was a bit clunky, to use your word, until then.
Yes, choppy was another adjective I used frequently. Yeah, it was a little bit sputtering, and I think that's to be expected because you are playing with teammates who haven't necessarily played alongside each other. There's a relationship you have to build, and when you're going through that process, you don't have the chance to build that relationship. But I think it may have masked the greater issue, which is, can this team get a formation and lineup in place that looks dominant again? Because at points, we've lost a little bit of swagger, it seems like, with the United States.
They say it never rains in Southern California, to quote the old song, and it isn't raining tonight. Another day in paradise, really, in this part of the world, certainly if you come from where I do. It's the national anthems, of course, first of the 2 competing nations.
Of Japan, to be followed by the playing of the national anthem of the United States.
USA, the 3 times World Cup winners and 4 times Olympic champions. One thing the USA have never done yet is retain the World Cup. And Jill Ellis's team could do that, conceivably, in the next tournament coming up in 2019 in France. Japan, full of good technical players. They've always had that about them. Still trying to find the right blend, I think it's fair to say, and Jill Ellis would agree. She says she has some answers from this tournament, but she's not going to say what they are yet. She's keeping those to herself. This is her lineup today. There are 3 changes. Kristen Press is back in the starting lineup after her goal. Julie Ertz too, with that last-minute winner. She gets a start this time, and Mallory Pugh's back in too.
And in particular, Sauerbrunn back in that center back position. We saw that midfield experiment with her in the last game. Julie Ertz getting the start of that holding midfield, but most important, sticking with that 4-3-3. She's been shuffling through lineups, and this one looks like it may stick for a little bit for the United States.
Japan's head coach, Asaku Takakura, is relatively new to the job. She made her debut for Japan as a player when she was just 16 years old. She's trying to make Japan a power again at a World Cup. Those 3 players highlighted there were all part of the lineup when Japan played the USA in the 2015 World Cup. Those 2 midfield players, very good.
We talked about Momiki in the open, who's going to give a lot of that offensive firepower, but Sakaguchi and Utsugi, of course, plays for the Seattle Reign in the NWSL. Those are 2 players that are going to drive the engine. And you talk about a technical team. They love to play. So someone connecting the dots, those are the 2 that are going to do it for Japan tonight.
Only 1 point in the tournament for them so far, 3 for the United States. We do know that Australia have won this Tournament of Nations with a 100% record. They beat Brazil 6-1 in the game earlier on. We'll show you the goals from that a bit later on. But that's not really the issue here for the USA. They're trying, 2 years out from a World Cup, to really get themselves going, and they will want this win because obviously this is a little bit of a grudge match, USA v Japan. They also played, apart from those 2 World Cup finals, the last 2 World Cup finals, in the Olympic final in London when Carly Lloyd got 2 goals and the USA won that. There's the goalkeeper. Keeps her place despite a, well, fairly horrendous error. Alison Nair. Horrible thing to happen live on TV as well against Brazil after 70 seconds. But no crisis of confidence. She's had a talk with Jill Ellis. She keeps her place. That's the right decision, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we even said, you know, did you consider taking her out at halftime? And she said, absolutely not. You got to stick with a player. And I totally agree.
The referee, by the way, is Caroline Chenard from Canada. The final game of the Tournament of Nations, which has been very enjoyable to behold. Out on the West Coast in Seattle, San Diego, and now just south of LA. And here's Kristen Press straight away for the US. Will they be a different team here? That's Pugh rather scuffling the shot, but it was a very incisive looking break straight away.
And that is exactly the start they want, because they want to get pressed. She's playing that high center forward. They want to get her behind the back line, stretching that back line.
Flicked on there by the number 5, Madoka Haji. She's only winning her 2nd cap here. That's the record all time. USA leading 26-1 in terms of victories, with 7 games being drawn. The 1 win for Japan for official purposes was at the Algarve Cup in 2012, not the World Cup final.
They don't count the World Cup final
because it went to a penalty shootout.
No.
That's the statisticians for you. It was a drawn match for official purposes.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't win it after all.
Yes, they tried telling them that. They have got a lot of new names in their roster for this event. Japan, they were rather found out by the Australians, but Australia, I think, have served notice, really, that they will be maybe ready to go beyond the quarter-final stage in big tournaments that are coming up. It's Casey Short with a nifty piece of work on that left-hand side.
And here's the exciting thing if you're an Australian fan. And those are young players, 22, 23. They've got a good 1 or 2 cycles left in them. That's a good team.
Work to do back there for Dahl Kemper. It's a lively start from Haji, who's come in. She seems to have a bit of a roaming role. The number 10 is a familiar figure to followers of women's soccer. Mizuho Sakaguchi wearing a 111th cap. She scored in the shootout when Japan won the final of the World Cup in 2011. Watch her And the number 6, Rumi Utsugi, alongside her, plays in the United States for Seattle Reign. Good players, both of those, and they could dominate the midfield if the USA aren't up to the task here tonight. This heads it on. Played back in again by Utsugi. This is Samashima to lay it forward, another experienced player, 30 years of age now, has played in 2 World Cup finals.
I have to say, I like Becky Sauerbrunn at that center back position better than that holding midfield experiment.
Which was no disrespect to the way she played there. It's just that she's a lot better in her proper position. And I think, to be fair to the coach, she tried that out, and I think it's the last we'll see of it, if we're honest about it. And Julie Ertz is in there today. She plays there for her club, and she certainly added a bit of dynamism. On the ball now, Julie Johnston, that was recently married. Rapinoe with the layoff. Picked up by Tanaka, who's played all the games in this tournament so far. Sakaguchi to lay it forward. Ertz to Lloyd. Rapinoe with the diagonal run ahead. It's Kristen Press again. She's really got good acceleration, as Kristen Press. Made a difference when she came on, certainly, and scored a very fine goal too. So her confidence ought to be sky high. It's Kelly O'Hara. Carly Lloyd again. Mewis to lay it forward. Now Pugh. Short. Very good play by her. One question mark against Casey Short is, can she do the attacking side of the job as a left back?
Yeah, they know how good she is defensively, and she's got the pace clearly defensively to track those strikers down, but really wanting to see, and you can see how many different players Jill Ellis has been testing in that outside back position, which one's going to stick offensively as well. But already a much better start in this first 5 for the United States. More patience, they're moving the ball around.
What a difference a win can make. Played towards Ertz, she couldn't quite get there with the header. O'Hara plays it back in again, it just needed a touch. Ertz couldn't provide it. It will be another corner to the US, who've started fast.
Ertz always going to be a target on these, and especially on that near post. We'll see on this second one, she's going to make a similar run, I'm guessing. She is so dangerous in the air.
Another Megan Rapinoe corner with chance of USA. Lloyd couldn't quite reach it in the way she would have wanted to direct it goalwards. Only 1 goal for Carly Lloyd, not like her in 2017. I'm sure the goals will start to arrive again soon.
Yeah, when you look at the years she's had, and that's the remarkable thing, she's doubled her scoring rate in her 30s. She had 15 goals in 2014, 18 in 2015, and 17 in 2016. That's a hard pace to keep with. Said the woman who retired at 33.
But occasionally misses it, yeah.
It takes a lot.
A
really nice field and a nice
evening
like this. We've had some nice services. That's what gets me back out there.
Sumida. Laid wide here for Nakajima. Driven across the face of goal, still not properly away. Once again, Haji was causing a few problems. Here's Carly Lloyd. That's aimed towards Rapinoe. Somebody's got to take responsibility, and the goalkeeper, Yamashita, does exactly that. She's the #1 goalkeeper at the moment, though she's only won 10 caps so far. That's for the champions in Japan. Sorry, Julie.
I was just going to say the history of the Japanese team is, of course, we've known how technical and skillful they are. But one of the areas that I've always felt they could grow in is in that goalkeeper position, and Yamashita has been good for them. And only those 10 games and the ones I've seen, she looks athletic, she's confident, she holds balls. That may be a huge boost for that Japanese team.
Tonight Tsugi, by the way, looks like she's joining the defense. Play defensive midfield as well. They rested quite a few of their better players in the last game against Australia, and it rather showed. They're all back this time. League flourishes in Japan, 3 divisions. Nice play that, wasn't it, by Sakaguchi. Ball's been given away though by Sumida. Rapinoe. Oh, that's a great effort. He just skimmed the top of the bar as well from Megan Rapinoe.
And that's not the player you want to give the ball away to on a technical error, because this is what she's going to do. And this is the confidence of Megan. I mean, typically Megan might have maybe pulled that back, built it up a little bit. She's going away from goal at a weird angle and still tries to get it, and almost does. Almost catches the goalkeeper on that one. And that's how confident Megan Rapinoe is right now. And she has shown it in the NWSL, the leading goal scorer with 12 goals for Seattle right now.
Getting a hat-trick against Sky Blue in a 5-4 thriller the other day. Press with the layoff. Good battling to win it back, Mallory Pugh, but that's a little on the careless side from her, and Tanaka can pick it up. Well, one back by Juliet, played forward by Mewis. Rapinoe's in here, massive chance. And she's put it into the side netting. The goalkeeper, to be fair, got something on that. You have to say, good save, Yamashita.
And this is all with Julie Ertz winning that battle in the midfield. That's the difference that holding midfielder fight can do, because immediately you're springing balls in the final third. Yamashita coming out, getting something on it, cutting the angle, but Sam Mewis in that seam there maybe could step into that, pull it back.
Rapinoe, this is the best we've seen really from the USA in this tournament, in the early stages of the game anyway. They look much more dynamic. Corner. Done in the nick of time by Ichise. Back in again, Ernst couldn't quite reach it. Japan at full stretch back there to keep the US out. This is more like it.
Much better rhythm. You're right. And there's more of an urgency. We've talked about it the last couple games. It just seemed a little bit flat, a little bit slow.
Ertz. Here's the break. Haji. She's got a couple of players up there with her, including Tanaka, who wanted that played in behind. It wasn't the best ball, that, from Haji. They rather threw that away. Game very, very open. Press, Rapinoe with the angled run. Rapinoe looking for the finish, and Rapinoe provides the finish. She can do no wrong. Well, the goal was coming, no doubt about it.
It's great to see Rapinoe showing what she can do, because look at this one. The long ball in. And she has the patience to let that player, she gets her to bite on that first one, lets her go down, and then lets the ball, look at this again. She gets her to bite, fakes that shot, she bites, she lets the ball roll, and then pulls it across goal when she's coming across the goalkeeper.
Good players will always tell you, and you were a good player, Julie, a very good player, that they can slow the game down in that situation. The composure there was quite something.
Yeah, because your instinct for a lot of players, of course, is to crack it right away. If she had Japanese defenders coming in and blocking that shot, what a beauty that was.
Naji again. Some misplaced ball. Been a couple of those from her. You have to look after the ball better. The good Japan sides that reach to World Cup finals could certainly do that. Of course, they don't have that excellent midfield player. We used to like watching her, Mayama, these days. And of course, there's no Hamari Sawa.
I was going to say, no Sawa.
Who some of the US players got to know, I believe. Did you know her?
Kate Markgraf knows her.
She certainly does. Very good player.
Oh, at some point in this game, we're going to tell that story. The best prank we ever played on Kate Markgraf. Kate, you must be watching right now.
It'll have to wait. It's a game.
That's a second half story.
Here's Abby Dahlkemper for the US. Towards Rapinoe again, and they do have to cut the supply line to her, otherwise she might cause havoc. That's another great ball to Press, who turns and shoots. She might have played that back into the path of Pugh. Have a look at this goal again. Just look how composed Rapinoe is.
And what a nice little ball in by Press. Perfect pace, and she lets it run by her. Look at this little shimmy. All it takes is a little fake that she's going to go down, lets it run, and then has the presence of mind not even just to go on that side, that post. She pulled it across because the keeper's coming across.
And after 18 without a goal for the USA, 2 in 2 for Megan Rapinoe, who, without any question at all, has been the USA's player of this tournament. Let's cuts it out again. She's making a difference in there in the midfield. Seems to be everywhere. Now Casey Short, who plays for Chicago. Sam Mewis scored in the last game. Lovely ball that to Pugh, who just let it slip under her foot. Here's the 19-year-old again. We've been talking a lot, haven't we, you and I, in this tournament about the changing world order, and that was rather underlined today when Denmark and the Netherlands made it through
to
the European Championship final.
Netherlands beating England 3-0 emphatically.
Neither of those two ranked in the top 10 in the world ahead of that tournament. Germany, France, England, Sweden, all dumped out. England beaten 3-0 by the Netherlands today.
Germany dumped out in the quarters.
Yeah.
They'd won the last 6 Euros. That's such a great sign, too, for women's soccer. Just getting that many more countries enthused about it, supporting it, funding it. As we all know, that's the constant issue, is support and funding for the women's program. So you'd love to see the packed. It was almost 30,000 people rocketing in their orange in the Netherlands for that semifinal.
Yeah, and they need the lift because their men's team have been having a bit of a horror story in recent times. That and the performance of the Australia team at this tournament as well is something just to make a note of if you're a form student of women's soccer.
You had 4 in this tournament, 4 teams in the top 8 in this tournament. And Australia comes out, it was the lowest ranked at number 8, comes out on top. And similar to the Netherlands win, another emphatic win, 3 of them for Australia here.
Japan just starting to get their passing game going a little bit on that far side with Yuka Mamiki involved. We know she can finish. We've seen it in this tournament. It's only her 10th cap. She's already scored 3 times for her country. Nakajima on the chase.
And that's the thing with Japan and what the U.S. has done well in this first 17 is if you can make them chase and have to defend, then they don't want to get into that battle. They want to keep the ball. They want to hold it, be technical, make the other team chase. The U.S. doing a better job in this game of keeping it, getting a little bit of rhythm.
This Kristen Press again towards Mallory Pugh. That's not a bad idea, just a little bit heavy, and again the goalkeeper playing the sweeper-keeper role to some effect. Six US players have started every game in this tournament. seen much of Sydney Leroux, just one substitute appearance. Morgan Bryan's injured, by the way, and Crystal Dunn too didn't suit up for this game because of the ankle injury she got the other night. Short to play this in. That's another well-measured ball to Press, who tried the instant volley. What a lovely pass. Yeah, it's just confirmation of what's happened in the European Championships. Those semi-finals there today. The Netherlands beating England 3-0. Denmark won on penalties against Austria. And the finals on ESPN2 on Sunday.
Austria in its first ever European Championships. It's a nice debut.
Haji trying to make a nuisance of herself. They haven't really got it going as an attacking force yet, Japan, but that's because the US have been closing them down and winning the ball back quickly all over the pitch. Dahlkemper started every game in the tournament. She's been much admired by Jill Ellis with her composed displays in defence. Seems to have that place tied up just for the moment.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of movement on that back line, though. We saw Casey Short playing in that center back position, but I think that's a consequence of Jill trying to find that outside back.
Carly Lloyd to Kristen Press. You can see what the idea was. Trying to pick up Pugh, who gets the ball now anyway. Very exciting talent, the Washington Spirit player. O'Hara, there ought to be the goalkeepers, but she's not really got there. The flag goes up anyway, and so Lloyd tried to attack it. Our next MLS match is Sunday at 2 o'clock Eastern. That's 11 in the morning Pacific time on ESPN. Very hot weather forecast up in Portland. That's change kickoff time. We'll be at Providence Park. Western Conference clash it is. Portland Timbers and LA Galaxy. A Major League Soccer presented by Audi. Also streaming live on the ESPN app. Talking about 107, aren't they? Up in Portland. Whoa.
Crazy.
So they're going to be playing at midday.
I know. So let's switch it to 11.
Right, okay. This is good performance from the USA so far. Sakaguchi. Nakajima. Did the ball go out of play? Yeah, it did. The whole ball did cross the whole of the line.
And that's Ertz again, putting pressure on ball. She's all over the place. I like the lift she's given him. She's talking. She's directing. She's got a bite to her.
And she said she got a bit of a kick the other day when it came out on the Tannoy system that the goal had been scored by Julie Ertz, that when it was the first time she'd scored with her new name as a married lady, and she was very, very happy about it all.
Zach is grinning at home. That's very cute.
Did miss it. Games against Russia back in the spring for a wedding and a honeymoon. Congratulations to both of them. Here's Becky Sauerbrunn. Never misses a minute, it seems, for the US. With a loose ball that time from Mewis. Here's Tanaka to pick it up for Japan. Sumida wide. Now Momiki. Sakaguchi, who's just sitting a little bit deeper. Probably they need her to be affecting the game a little further forward, picking a pass or two to open up the US defense. That might be for later on. Momiki lays it back. Best move so far from the Japanese. And took a flick on the way through. It will be a corner.
It'll be interesting to see, too, they have Utsugi playing more of a center back, deeper role, not in the midfield. We've seen her roaming in that midfield, and spraying the balls for Japan and really being that engine, how that affects them.
Well, they brought her on at half-time. They were resting a few, but they were looking so leaky at the back against Australia that they needed to shore it up, so they brought her into the defence as an experienced older head, and they've stayed with that for this game. Naya's got some work to do here and does beat it away in the end. Shot was from Nakajima.
And this is where the U.S. is going to be keen to separate. When you have this much of the ball, you're getting their looks. It's been a constant topic of conversation with Jill Ellis about just being better in front of the goal, finishing chances.
Nakajima. Abby Dahl-Kemper was able to cut it out. She started the last 4 US games now. Sumida to lay it back. Sakaguchi has been in the team for 11 years now, since her debut. They've left out the striker Kumi Yokoyama for the first time in the tournament tonight, and little extra ideas she brings in attacking areas, maybe missing from their play. Sauerbrunn wide for Casey Short. Good first touch by Haji and Nakajima. Sakaguchi directing the operations. And a little shrug.
Yeah.
How about some movement then?
I wanted you wide. You give me nothing.
She's looking to find where the space is. Manya playing it forward. Here's Nakajima again. Just signs of Japan settling for the first time in the game until that. Only a third cap for the left back, Miko Manya.
I think the big challenge for Japan, too, in this transition period, when you lose a Miyama and a Sawa and some of these incredible, legendary attacking players, is they play pretty, of course, and they hold the ball and they keep the ball, but are they ever going to have that bite where they have someone on the other end finishing balls? And those two were so world-class. How do you replace that?
With difficulty, I think, is the answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just that nous, isn't it? Tournament nous experience. Utsugi. It's on the speculative side, really. It's what Sakaguchi is normally about. Pacey runs from deep. Has scored 28 times in a Japanese career over the years. That's a nicely picked ball. Haji turning inside. Then Tanaka.
Sauerbrunn there to clean it up. So dependent.
By the way, that comeback against Brazil, that's the first time the US have ever come from being 2 goals down in the second half of a game to win. First time ever. They come back from 2 goals down in matches, but not when it happened during the second half. So a little bit of history there.
Yeah, I remember that. One of those was against France in the 2012 Olympics. But as you said, part of that comeback started in the first half.
Chise to lay it forward. Japan just playing a little higher up the pitch and consequently just starting to ask the odd question, no more than that. Played in towards Tanaka, who nearly got there on the near post. Mallory Pugh had to get back and help her defence. Rapinoe, whose goal separates the sides, well taken too. Kelly O'Hara, who has been used at left back as well in this tournament. Left back is possibly a bit of a problem position. Megan Klingenberg wasn't picked for this tournament, but is still very much on the radar.
And it's a position where Jill Ellis has rolled through quite a few players. Krieger has been on the bench. She hasn't gotten a look, however, this tournament. I think she says, because I know what Krieger can give me right now, I need to look at other players. When you ask Jill about that.
Sakaguchi. Haji cutting inside Dahlkemper, but she's having none of it. Well played by Abby Dahlkemper. It's a good piece of defending again from her. Not the first. Former captain of the under-17 team, Abby Dahlkemper.
Played right here at UCLA.
And apparently some very good kids coming through in the under-15, 16, 17s, we're hearing. Bruce Arena, the USA coach, is here tonight. His next assignment, Costa Rica in the World Cup qualifier. You'll see it on ESPN on September the 1st. Suno Galati there, the US soccer president, there as well.
Tobin Heath as well behind her.
Yeah, you were speaking to her last night.
Yeah, I saw her yesterday. Had a good chat with her.
She's injured, isn't she, at the moment?
She is, trying to get that back healthy. She's back out running and moving, so that's a good sign.
Hydration break here on our...
So great to see how well Bruce has done coming in with the men's team.
Yep, hasn't lost yet. And they're going to have to make a change here. Taylor Smith is going to come on. She started the first 2 games, made her debut in this tournament to replace Kelly O'Hara. Another chance. Oh, Tanaka turned ever so well there. The ball wouldn't quite just sit there for the half volley.
And this is the thing we know about Japan, is they hover, they stay close. And quickly this game can change. She doesn't look well, Kelly, does she there?
I'm not quite sure what the story is for that substitution. Apparently she's not feeling too well, Kelly O'Hara. It is a particularly hot day here. Sabron heads it away. USA for the moment just lost a little of that early rhythm. Tanaka to lay it wide.
And there's another part of the process. Taylor Smith getting the look in front of an Ali Krieger type right there. Taylor Smith it's only her 3rd cap ever with the national team. But getting another look. Also played at UCLA, was a forward, won a national championship there as well. So knows Abby Dahlkemper, who's alongside of her well, but played as a forward at UCLA and is converted for the Courage as well as a outside back.
And to be fair, she's done okay in this tournament, quite highly tried, of course, with the standard of the opposition. Whether she can build on that, I think, is the question now. It's a tough squad to get into and make an impact.
It just feels like a little bit of a momentum shift here at 31 minutes in the last 5-10 minutes. Japan having more of the ball, settling into this game a little bit more.
Sugi had to play it into touch, picked up by Taylor Smith, and then Press winning a 90th cap, by the way. Now it's Pugh. It's not accurate enough. Possession surrendered too easily, really.
Who also played at UCLA. Let's stay on that theme.
You're the official.
Quickly.
You're the official UCLA spokesman tonight.
I know. It's so unlike me.
I love you.
It's like a rival. She had a hot minute there, actually, only. Decided, no, I actually think I'm going to go play pro.
Said the Stanford graduate. Yep. Carly Lloyd to bring it down. Back playing a deeper role last couple of games. Almost like a conventional midfield player in the engine room, so to speak, rather than a bit further forward behind the strikers. She will be 37 by the time of the next World Cup. Fully intends to be a part of it all, but it would be just a little bit of a question whether she can be the same effective player she was 4 years ago, when frankly she was sensational and was one of the last 2 World Player of the Year awards, Carly Lloyd. Good ball from Nakajima, that one. Towards Tanaka. Sakaguchi. And there's Tanaka, and off the line. Well, very, very close to an equaliser. Juliet's getting back there heroic and took a nasty knock doing it. Seemed Japan had to equalise.
And this is what Japan does. They stay in it. They stay close. They get that second bounce. It gets lucky. They get another bounce because really Casey Short is there. And Ertz recovering, knocking her leg on that post. But look at this recovery by Ertz. She never stops and really saves that one.
That's great play. That's her old defensive instincts as a central defender, kicking in there in the right place. But that hurts.
Yeah, you can see she's just trying to stop there.
Well, hopefully that's just an impact injury and nothing more than that.
But great instincts, as you said, Ian, is so often we get caught in that situation, ball watching and stop just for a half second, and that's the difference. And Ertz knowing right away to cover.
She won't want to come off, that's for certain. I think her message to the physios were patch me up and get me back out there again as quick as, but they've just got to make sure there that it's nothing more serious. But you'd think there might be a fairly hefty bruise. That post is not soft.
No.
In a way, they won't take a risk, of course, because they'll be thinking too about our club, won't they? As well, Chicago want to return these players in good shape. See if she can just walk that off. A few more assessments. Meanwhile, here comes the Japan corner in. Rapinoe wins the header. Comes up to Sumida. Sakaguchi is getting into more forward positions as well now.
There comes Ertz. Back in.
No problem that time for Naya. Painful but not game ending. Ichise winning the header. It's one of 4th, 5th and 6th caps at this tournament. Starting every game. They obviously like her. And the one thing I really, for young players playing in something like this against world top 10 opposition, is they'll learn a lot, or should.
Yeah, I mean, and again, no disrespect to some of the teams the U.S. plays, but the Costa Ricas and even the Mexicos, you know, you're dominating in a way that doesn't show you a ton. And you crave these games. And literally in the past, in this non-World Cup year after an Olympics, it's been a down year. Not as many games, not as good a quality of opponent. And that was one thing that Jill Ellis really wanted to change.
Sakaguchi, who's inherited Homari Sawa's number 10 shirt.
And I give U.S. Soccer a ton of credit because it's hard to get these games consistently, to put on 2 home-based, hosting 2 big tournaments.
Japan starting to play well now. Keeping the ball, knocking it around quite pleasingly. This is the Japan we know. Sakaguchi. And then the shot in the end from Momiki didn't have the power she was looking for.
And this is the evolution the U.S. team needs to make. In these moments where they started so strong in the first 20, they've lulled for about 15 here. Japan starts to get a hold of the game. Who on the team is going to say, okay, let's go? We've got 5 minutes here, 7 minutes before the end of the half. Let's take this game back and try and get one going into the half at 2-0 up. And I haven't seen that player yet who can grab the ball and connect the dots and really pull the strings for them and say, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, there's a different mood to the game now. There's Carly Lloyd, who needs 3 goals to reach a century for the United States.
And maybe to be fair, it shouldn't be just one player, but I can, recall back in the day, it was 3 or 4 of you all of a sudden that are giving you a lift. And I think with experience, you start to recognize those moments when you need a lift.
Lloyd. Just looking to pick up the high tempo that we saw in the first 15 minutes or so of the game. Dahl, Kemper, Taylor Smith. Another chance for her. And the crowd have gone a little bit quiet as well. They've turned out in good numbers here. Looks like a crowd of around 25,000. Something like that anyway. Not counted them all yet.
It's a little bit ethereal. We played that we called the last match in the stadium that the Chargers always played in. The field looked perfect because they haven't had any games on it at Qualcomm. And now we're calling it a stadium they're going to be playing in.
Saturday at 12:25 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a great pre-season friendly for you. The ICC presented by Heineken. It's Spurs against the Italian champions Juventus, live from Wembley Stadium. It'll be streaming live on the ESPN app as well. Tottenham Hotspur will be playing all their home games at Wembley this season, while their White Hart Lane ground is renewed. New stadium just 200 yards away, and it'll be fantastic too. Japan ranked 6th in the world at the moment. Ranking may flatter them just a little on what we've seen here. Short to press. Now Sam Mewis, the tall, elegant midfield player. Rapinoe. Haji, who's been busy. That's her second cap. Sakaguchi's long ball to pick out Tanaka's angled run. Tanaka has made some good runs. Sometimes to no avail. She hasn't always managed to finish off the chances she's created here on the West Coast this last week. Did get one against Brazil. That was one where the ball just hit her and went in, though.
Off her shoulder.
She'll tell you a different story, of course. Strikers always do. Look in the newspaper the next day, or I should say on the website or something nowadays, shouldn't I? Seemingly none the worse for her brush with the post. To Becky Sauerbrunn.
Japan playing a very high line. U.S. has yet to really punish him for it, especially at the end of this half.
We do have the pace to get in behind is Mallory Pugh. Tried to hold her back. Still got the ball, Pugh. There's one player we haven't seen here because of a hamstring injury is Rose Lavelle. Very promising. So she'll be back pretty soon. Back training again, I hear. News today that, well, you know her, great American goalkeeper, Brianna Scurry, into the Hall of Fame.
Awesome. First African-American woman to get inducted into the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame, and long overdue. That should have happened a while ago. Congratulations, Bri. That's awesome. And while we're at it, how is Tiffany Milbritt not in there as well? 100 goals. There's only 5 women in all of U.S. soccer who have over 100 goals. She's one of them. The other 3, Mia Hamm. Well, let's start at the top. Abby Wambach, who isn't yet eligible for the Hall of Fame ballot. Mia Hamm, Christine Lilly, and Michelle Akers. All of them are in the Hall of Fame. Come on, people!
You're leading the campaign, and you've done it very well here. Samashima trying to curl one towards the top corner. It was ambitious. Coming up at half-time, we'll have a profile of Carly Lloyd, a storied career. The Australia-Brazil highlights, and there were 7 goals to show you from that. And Megan Rapinoe continuing to be a torchbearer for the US. Last minute of the first half. Very good goal from Megan Rapinoe. Here's Pugh. Good looking ball, and she was entitled to think somebody might have been attacking that area, really. Corner kick to the US, chance to nick a second right on the brink of half-time.
And this is an area where the US has had so much success against Japan. Obviously, height advantage, size advantage, physicality. You got Ertz, you got Mewis. Those 2 right in the center of your screen are the targets.
Ertz is good in the air. It was beyond her, though. She'd made that little near post run, maybe looking to just flick one on. Win or a draw will ensure the US do finish second to Australia in this tournament, which they would have hoped to win. But the Aussies have been good. That's the bottom line. Here's Momiki.
Sam Kerr continued her form we've seen with the NWSL. 11 goals. She's been playing so well. She looked great over these 3 games. But they've got a lot of talent on that team as well alongside her.
Mewis, and offside against Kristen Press. That will be infuriating to Jill Ellis and the coach, really, that the attack ended that tamely. Strikers have to bend their run. Stoppage time, and I think really once this is taken, the Canadian referee will probably blow for a break and a chance for everybody to rehydrate on a hot night here just south of LA.
Reset and try and get that rhythm back, a little urgency back as well in that second half for the US.
Good goal from Megan Rapinoe, putting Jill Ellis' side ahead. For the first 15-20 minutes, they were very impressive, but Japan have just got back into the argument a bit. When we return, we'll get a profile of Carly Lloyd. Half-time here, USA 1, Japan 0.